Page 316, Chapter 20. Bond or marriage. Separation of bond or divorce. Bondlessness or celibacy. It happened that after Emmanuel had concluded these talks, he departed from Galilee and entered the land of Judea, beyond the Jordan. A small crowd of people followed him, and there, with herbal ointments, he healed a sick woman who had suppuration of the wound, and with a herbal ointment and a herbal potion, he thus healed a child who, due to the sting of a bee, suffered from a swelling on the arm and a fever. Then the Pharisees approached him and tempted him by asking, quote, "Is it right for a man to divorce his wife on any grounds?" He answered, saying, quote, "Truly I say to you, stars would sooner fall from the firmament than for a divorce to be permissible, unless the breach of the bond or adultery or gewalt is given. Truly, a human being will leave father and mother for the sake of the bond or marriage, and will cling to his or her spouse or marriage partner so as to become one flesh and one blood. So they are now no longer two, but one flesh and one blood, which is uniquely theirs. From one flesh and one blood there goes forth offspring, who again are of the same flesh and blood as their father and mother. What has been joined together in this manner the human being shall not separate, unless there is gewalt, or breach of the bond given spousalship. Otherwise it is against the laws of the nature." They then said, quote, "Why did Moses command that a letter of separation be issued when the bond breaks from any cause?" But he said to them, quote, "Moses gave you permission to divorce because of the hardness of your hearts and his dominance over you. But such was not given from the beginning of the human species, for Moses had broken a law in this instance when he permitted you to divorce. But I say to you, whosoever divorces, except for whoring or the other stipulated blemishes, or when whoring is practiced or other blemishes are committed, such as for the sake of gewalt or the breach of the bond or adultery, and courts someone else for sexual favors, breaks the bond or marriage." Then a disciple said to him, quote, "If this is the wise it is between a human being and his or her spouse or marriage partner, then it is not good to be connected in a bond." But Emmanuel spoke to them, quote, "Not everyone grasps this message, except only those to whom it is given to recognize and understand. Some do not enter into the bond or marriage, because from the time of their birth they are without the skill for it, or without the talent for it, incapable of it. Some do not enter into the bond or marriage, because other human beings have made them unsuitable for it. And some do not enter into the bond or marriage, because they renounce it for the sake of the spiritual or consciousness-based power. And some do not enter because they are enforced to do so, or because they have fallen into an illness. Those who can grasp this, let them grasp it." Segnum, or blessing, of the children. Then children were brought to him, so that he would lay his hands on them and bless or dedicate them. But 2 of the disciples rebuked the mothers to take the children away. However, Emmanuel spoke, quote, "Let the children be, and do not hinder them for coming to me, because they are my most attentive listeners, and theirs is the realm of the wisdom." And he laid his hands upon them and said, quote, "Take in, or learn, the knowledge and the wisdom, and become those who are spiritually, or in consciousness, close to understanding, or those who begin to understand, and true followers of the laws and recommendations of the creation. Truly, truly I say to you, inasmuch as I am called Emmanuel, which means, quote, the one with Ishwish knowledge, or falsely, quote, the one with godly knowledge, you too will bear this name when you grasp the true love and the wisdom of knowledge. And to his disciples and disciplesses he said, quote, truly, truly I say to you, seek the knowledge and recognize the truth, so that you will understand and become wise. Being named, quote, the one with Ishwish knowledge, or the one with Ishwish knowledge, indicates that in the knowledge of the Spirit, or spiritual knowledge, I stand spiritually, or in consciousness, above kings and emperors. Therefore it says that the wisdom is among us. Thus, in the knowledge of the Spirit, or spiritual knowledge, I am a king of wisdom among the human species, as the Ishwish is the king of wisdom among the celestial sons, who, together with the Ishwish, are the makers of the new human species. As I was born of an earth woman, and speak her language, and I am called Emmanuel, so is he in his language called Ishwish, which means king of wisdom. And he is often a ruler over a human species or more, and ruler over a people or more. Seek and understand the meaning of my speech, lest you may be so bold as to call me the, quote, Son of God, or assign me to sonship of creation, or power of creation, or insult me as the master over good or evil. Truly, I too am a human being of comprehensibility or plainness, as you, and thus I do not stand above you as such, for I only stand above you in the knowledge of the Spirit, or spiritual knowledge, and in the wisdom concerning, or with regard to, the teaching of the laws and recommendations of the creation. Behold, the little children, they are not like you. They trust in the truth and the wisdom of my speech, and therefore the wisdom shall be theirs. So why do you resist or struggle against them? And he laid his hands upon the children, blessed them, and departed from there. As they were walking, Petrus said to him, quote, behold, we have forsaken all unknowledge and the false teachings, and follow you. What will we get in return? But Emmanuel replied to them, quote, truly I say to you, you who have followed me in the teaching, many a one among you will take in the wisdom of my teaching. So in future living agains as new selves, or in new lives as new personalities, many a one among you will be great spiritually, or in consciousness. But many a one among you will not recognize the wisdom of my teaching, and will spread confusing teachings about me. Every one, however, will struggle also in future living agains as new selves, or in new lives as new personalities, to find the truth. So it will be among all human species in all directions, from east to west, and from north to south. My true teaching will be brought to many, but hardly anyone among them will recognize it in its extent or scope. Many will follow a confused teaching about me, so many a one among them will not find the truth, because due to false teachings, or irrational teachings, of cults, many will believe me to be a god or his son. And the false cults and their proponents will speak big words and make false speeches, that they alone know the truth, because many a one will have fallen prey to an evil belief of a false cult, and, thus, will follow an evil and falsified teaching. Many will be the first among the human species, because many will think avariciously in confused teachings, and will place themselves above the human beings. But they will be the last in the spiritual, or consciousness-based knowledge, and small in the love, and in their wisdom. True love and wisdom will only exist where the knowledge about the true truth bears good fruit, and where every law of the creation is followed and respected.